Kwaba, welcome to this week's edition of Ghana in Focus. Myself, Kwame, Ghanaian broadcaster, writer, journalist, podcaster, and entrepreneur. And in this week's edition of Ghana in Focus, why diasporans are coming to Ghana. All right, so as a topic for this week's Ghana in Focus, why diasporans or why so many diasporans are coming to Ghana. So before we start the show, if you like what you hear, please share to your friends, family, social media networks. You can subscribe to Ghana Africa in Focus podcast on YouTube. We're going to get 200 subscribers by the end of the year. So please subscribe to Ghana Africa in Focus on YouTube and hit the notification bell, meaning that YouTube will inform you every time I upload a new podcast. Again, we're also on Spotify, and you can get the Ghana African Focus on Spotify. Just look out for Spotify podcasts and click Ghana African Focus and click on follow, meaning that every time I upload a new podcast, Spotify again will notify you. So far we've got 500 subscribers on Spotify, which is great. And we want to get 800 by the end of the year. So please tell your friends and subscribe to Ghana African Focus podcast on Spotify. All right, so again, if you'd like to donate to a show, you can donate as little as $3 a month. That will help us with our costs and also help us continue to bring out great content coming out of Ghana and Africa as well. All right, so let's get into the podcast. Why many diasporans are coming to Ghana. And so in the aftermath of the year of return in 2019, where the government of Ghana had an initiative to reacquaint themselves with the diaspora by inviting them to Ghana and by seeing Ghana as a place to do business, a place to invest, a place to settle, and a place to call home. And so this was the Year of Return initiative that was started by community organizations that was brought into by the government of Ghana, and that became a great success in 2019 because about 1.9 million Africans from the diaspora visited Ghana in that year, looking at the business opportunities, looking about the tourism in Ghana, looking at Ghana being an investment destination and Ghana being somewhere they could settle. So, the right of return and subsequent beyond the return has created so much interest from the diaspora that today, 5 years on from 2019, there are about between 20 and about 30,000 Africans from the diaspora have moved to Ghana in that 5-year period. And so we want to analyze some of the reasons why, Africans from the diaspora are moving back to Ghana and are seeing Ghana as a place they can call home. But before I get into that deeply, it's quite ironic because I made the podcast last year, why Ghanaians leaving Ghana, So there's a lot of Ghanaians who have left Ghana over the last 4 to 5 years, wanting to seek greener pastures abroad, and it's quite funny that many Africans are coming back to Ghana to live and settle, but you've got, on the other hand, many Ghanaians, leaving Ghana and trying to make it in the West. So what is it that the diaspora can see that the Ghanaian on the ground can't see, which is A, making Ghanaians born in Ghana leave Ghana to go and get a new life abroad, and also why many diasporans are coming back. So that's a quite strange anomaly. But, there are many reasons why Africans from the diaspora, particularly the US, North America, and Europe, are coming to Ghana. So I'll give you about half a dozen of them as from what I think are some of the key reasons why, a lot of Africans from the diaspora, particularly from the West, are seeing or moving to Ghana and seeing Ghana as a place that they can call home. Now, one of these is peace of mind. Now, that would sound strange to many Ghanaians born in Ghana, but there is a lot of peace of mind being in Ghana, and that you don't get in the West. So in the West, there's this, rat race, that is in Europe and America particularly. And, and you are living in a society, well, the rat race basically is that you wake up in the morning, you go to work, you come back late at night, you have something to eat, watch a bit of TV, go to bed, wake up again, go to work. So it's like that same tremor of like working. And many people do that for the best part of 25, 30 years and then retire, with their pension and what have you. But many or some Africans from diaspora, they don't want their life just to be that rat race, i.e., go to work, wake up, go to work, come back home, sleep, wake up, go to work, come back home, that kind of tremble. A lot of Africans in the diaspora, particularly in Europe and America, are sick and tired of that rat race. Again, also living in a society where you are not judged, by the color of your skin, yeah, and actually wanting your own space and environment, is a big issue, is a big plus for, a lot of Africans in the diaspora, particularly African Americans. So that peace of mind that you can't get in America or Canada or UK or France is why many Africans from the diaspora are coming back to Ghana. Again, this issue whereby, particularly in America, African Americans, some of them don't feel safe in America, because, of what we all know what's happened with George Floyd, Trayvon Brown, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Sandra Blanche, all these African Americans killed by the police just because they had darker skin. Yeah. And this is what the peace of mind I'm talking about, that, African Americans particularly are escaping from. Because in Ghana, you don't get that, issue with the police to the extent that, yes, a policeman in Ghana may kill me. No, that doesn't happen in Ghana, whereby if a policeman stops you, unlike America, there could be the possibility of using your life. In Ghana, that doesn't happen. And so, many Africans from the diaspora, particularly African Americans, view Ghana as somewhere that they can have peace of mind, not being part of that rat race, not being judged by the color of their skin, and also living in an environment where they feel safe and secure and not having to look over their back, particularly when, they see a policeman. So, the peace of mind aspect is a very, very, very big thing as to why a lot of Africans from the diaspora have come to Ghana. And that also ties even mental health, because if your mental health is suffering, because mental health is a big illness. People joke with mental illness. Mental illness is a very, very big issue, particularly in the West. And so if you are in the West and because of this pressure, to meet, KPIs and all these targets at your workplace, and the pressure of life daily, to pay your rent, to pay your mortgage, to pay your children's, school attire, those kind of things, school meals, and in America, obviously, they pay school fees as well. Unlike in Britain, where there's no school fees unless the child goes to private school, all these things, and plus also the, toxic environment that is in Britain and America, especially, can play with mental health. And this is why, again, a lot of Africans from diaspora are leaving the West, because, it's having an effect of their mental health. But when it comes to Ghana, Ghana, is not as fast paced as the West. And, that does not, and it's a kind of more peaceful environment, relaxing environment, and it's a slower pace of life than UK or US, that helps with having, fine-tuning your mental that you are not, putting at stake or at risk your mental. So, having that peace of mind is a massive factor as to why, so many Africans from diaspora are wanting to come to Ghana, not just Ghana, but other African countries to come and live and settle. All right, so another reason why a lot of Africans are leaving the West and come to Ghana is racism. Racism, particularly in America, is a massive, massive negative for a lot of African Americans, because, many Africans born and bred in Africa, right, have not suffered racism, don't know what racism is, and have not had to live with racism for a lot of their lives. So our sisters and brothers in the West, racism is a daily matter, yeah? From not being valued at work, to being harassed by your neighbor, to having your children being harassed in school, by being stopped and searched by the police in the UK, US, and in the US, if you're not careful, being killed by the police, people looking down upon you because of the color of your skin, not getting that permission because of the color of your skin, being undervalued at work because of the color of your skin. Racism is a massive, massive pull factor as to why many Africans from the diaspora, want to leave the diaspora or leave the West rather and come to places like Ghana and live and settle, because, living in a racist society, is not for everybody. Some people have got thick skin and may take it, but a lot of people haven't got thick skin, and actually they allowed racism to get to them. And this is why I talked about mental health previously, because racism can affect your mental health. And so, not living in a society where you are judged by the color of your skin, where you are looked down by the color of your skin, is a massive, massive pull factor. And this explains why, in particular, you see a lot of African Americans leaving America and come to Ghana because of this racism, or rather, I would call it anti-Black racism, Afrophobia, that is prevalent in places like UK, US, Canada, Germany, the Netherlands, Australia, etc. And so racism, or anti-Black racism, Afrophobia, which means fear of Africans, is a huge, huge factor as to why many Africans in the diaspora choose to come to an African country like Ghana to live and settle, where they are not in a minority, they're in the majority, and then they can see people that look like them in prominent positions. All right, so another reason why, a lot of Africans are coming to Ghana is that, particularly African Americans, because a lot of African Americans, we have to, talk the truth here. A lot of African Americans are very, very entrepreneurial. They're very, very ambitious, yeah, because of the society that is America. And so many Africans from the diaspora, particularly African Americans, come to Ghana because they see the opportunities that are in Ghana. So unlike the Ghanaians who are born and bred in Ghana and not seeing what Ghana has to offer and thinking that they can make it in the West rather than Ghana, it is the opposite for our brothers and sisters who live in the West. Yeah. So they see Ghana as, somewhere that they can do business and somewhere that they can exploit the numerous opportunities that they are in Ghana. And whilst one about opportunities, come about September, October, I'll be doing a 3-part series as to some business opportunities that exist in Ghana that you can tap into. So that will be quite interesting. That I'll bring you between September and October, some of the business opportunities that exist in Ghana. And so, many Africans in the diaspora understand that there's a glass ceiling in the West. So whether you're in Britain, America, Canada, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, wherever, right, there is a glass ceiling in the West. What I mean by that is that as an African person, there's only so far you can go within a predominantly white or European society, yeah? And that your true potential will never be realized. So this again is what makes a lot of African people say, you know what, I'm not going to stay in a place where I'm not valued. I'm not going to stay in a place whereby I'm not going to get promotion, or I'm not going to stay in a place whereby my work is not being valued by my boss or by my company. So in that regard, I'm going to come to Ghana, come to Africa, use my skills, use my expertise, use my finance to, exploit the opportunities that are in countries like Ghana, and, help myself and also help my sisters and brothers in Ghana by giving them employment. And we see, the many African Americans, particularly, but also other Africans from diaspora who have come to Ghana and set up businesses like restaurants, like bars, like cafes, like tour companies, etc., that have also helped the economy of Ghana, and also by employing, local Ghanaians. So the numerous opportunities that are in Ghana is a big pull factor as to why many Africans in the diaspora are leaving the West and coming to Ghana to exploit the numerous business opportunities and investment opportunities that there are in Ghana. And this leads on to my next reason as to why many Africans in the diaspora are coming to Ghana. Again, living their best life, because in the West, like I said, in the West, you're undervalued and you're not really having a great life, because all your life in the West is centered around work. You, like I said, you get up, you go to work, you come back late at night, watch a bit of TV, have a bit of something to eat, then go back to bed again, wake up again, go to work, come back again, watch a bit of, Netflix, go to bed, wake up in the morning, same thing over and over and over again. And you're doing that the best part of 25 years. And so, in the West, despite what the West has to offer in terms of some of its advantages, many people in the diaspora think that they are not living their best lives, in the West. And so, given this, and also given the numerous opportunities that there are in Ghana, and also given the fact that, there's a different environment in Ghana, many Africans from diaspora are leaving the West and coming to Ghana to literally live their best life, i.e., they're living in a place where they're the majority, they're living in a place where nobody looks down upon them because they're African, they're living in a place whereby the environment is more green, the environment is more serene, they're living in a place which is less toxic than in the West, which is very, very toxic, particularly in the workplace, so all these things, add up as to why, you can live your best life in Ghana, particularly if you got, a good business behind you and a good income coming in. You can definitely live your best life in Ghana as compared to the West, whereby, you are kind of restricted as to the quality of life that you can really live because of the color of your skin. Now, the last reason why many Africans from the diaspora are attracted to somewhere like Ghana is a spiritual reason. And what do I mean by spiritual? So spiritual, particularly African Americans, particularly those who, African Americans who are conscious and who have gone, who have had a bit of Black history, taught to them or ingrained in them. So they see coming to Ghana, leaving the West, coming to somewhere like Ghana as a spiritual journey, i.e., going back to a place their ancestors were forced to leave in chains on a slave ship, and coming full circle by leaving the West where the ancestors were forced to go to, and coming back to Mother Africa is a full circle for many Africans in the diaspora, particularly African Americans, who, the ancestors were taken from Africa, places like Ghana, places like Nigeria, places like Togo, places like Ivory Coast, today's Ivory Coast, taken all the way from that territory to the so-called New World, in the Americas and the Caribbean. And for some African Americans, it's a spiritual journey that decide to leave America for some of the reasons I've just outlined, and they come back to Ghana as a spirituality, as a spiritual journey, as the fulfillment of a spiritual journey, the journey that the ancestors could not make. They, as descendants of those ancestors, have made that journey back to the motherland, back to Mom Africa. And so, many Africans, particularly African Americans, see living in Ghana or resettling Ghana, and investing in Ghana as a spiritual journey, as a completion of a spiritual journey that was started by the ancestors who were enslaved by the Europeans for more than 400 years, and coming back to Ghana as, you could say, a free person or an emancipated person, and completing that cycle or that circle by coming back to their motherland and, living the best life and, exploiting opportunities that Ghana has to offer. And so this spiritual aspect of why many Africans from the diaspora, particularly African Americans, are coming to Ghana, coming to Mom Africa, is precisely that, a spiritual journey that they have fulfilled their ancestors' wishes, in terms of like one day going back to Africa, being a slave and being an enslaved African in the Americas and also the Caribbean. So the spiritual journey is a massive, massive pull as to why many Africans and that's particularly African Americans are returning back to Ghana, returning back to Mother Africa as part of that spiritual fulfillment, spiritual journey. All right, so for me, these are some of the reasons why Africans from diaspora are coming back to Ghana, coming back to Africa, making a life for themselves. And a lot of Africans from diaspora who have come to Ghana are thriving and are living their best lives and are, living in a less toxic environment. In actual fact, are more healthy than what they were in Ghana, sorry, what they were in the West, rather, and having peace of mind and having that, mental health in order to actually, navigate and live in Ghana. And so Ghana has benefited a lot from some of the expertise, some of the finance, and some of the opportunities that a lot of our sisters and brothers from the diaspora have tapped into. And like I said, there's a lot of Ghanaians on the ground, native Ghanaians born and bred, who have been employed by our citizens, by our brothers who have come back to Ghana from diaspora. And this has also helped also to, bridge that cultural gap between Africans in the diaspora and Africans, born and bred in Ghana. All right, so this has been Ghana in Focus with myself, Kwame. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Like I said again, please subscribe to Ghana Africa in Focus on YouTube. We want 200 subscribers, so please subscribe if you haven't already to Ghana Africa in Focus on YouTube. Again, we're on Spotify as well. We want to get 800 subscribers by the end of the year. Again, please look out for Ghana Africa in Focus on Spotify. Click on the follow button, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new podcast. All right, so until next week's Ghana in Focus, thank you very much for listening. And for myself, Kwame, and from all the crew here on Ghana in Focus, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next edition of Ghana in Focus.